What's up y'all, and welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, hello and welcome. I have the new Adept Cosmetics Unity bundle to share with y'all today. I am so incredibly excited about this. This is a stunning collection. I had originally planned on getting this up for y'all over the weekend, but obviously I was too sick to do so. However, I'm happy to say I'm feeling so much better today, so I decided to take advantage of the situation. Now, before we jump into the details on this collection, I did want to say thank you one more time for all of the kind, sweet words that y'all left for me in my comments over the weekend. I know I went through and thanked each and every one of you individually, but I just wanted to come on here and say thank you one more time from the bottom of my heart. I love and appreciate each and every one of you more than you can possibly know. There is so much negativity out there on the internet. You hear about it. People talk about how you have to have thick skin to be in social media, and I 100% agree. But as I was scrolling through my comments over the weekend, as I was like in and out of sleep and trying to feel better, it was amazing to see how sweet y'all were, how kind y'all were, just all of the, well wishes, and we're here for you, take your time, get better, all of it. It really meant a lot to me. So I just want to acknowledge that and let y'all know that it truly did mean a lot to me to read that over the weekend. But let's go ahead and jump into this collection. That is a very awkward transition. I will give you all that. There is no easy way to go from being heartfelt and thankful to let's talk about makeup, but that's what we're gonna do. So this is actually the sister collection to the Flying Fiddles palette that came out earlier this year, which is why we have that same beautiful lace packaging, except this time we get purple. But the color story in here, y'all, look at how beautiful this is. This is a very fall romantic color story. This is a 15 pan palette. You do get 5 mattes and 2 shimmers in here, and this one right here is actually a duochrome, but the rest of the shimmers in here are just their plain shimmer formula, so we don't have any multi-chromes or holochromes or anything like that, which is why this is priced a little bit lower for Adept. This palette comes in at $52, and yes, that is still pricey, but for Adept, that is not a bad price point, and I'm okay with there not being a ton of shifty multi-chromes and duochromes in here. I'm excited about the color story. I am, however, very intrigued to see what the mattes are like in this palette. I have said it several times before that the mattes are very hit or miss in Adept palettes. Sometimes they're really good, sometimes they're okay, and sometimes they're just not good. So we'll see what these do. But this collection does also include the Duality Cheek palette. This has the same gorgeous packaging, and y'all, look at this. This is a 6 pan blush palette, and I'm excited because we have 3 shimmers and 3 mattes. I love the Adept shimmer blush formula. At least from what I have in the past, I do have a palette that is full of them, and it is so smooth, so beautiful. It's not glittery or chunky or anything like that. It just leaves a beautiful like shimmer on the skin. And then we also have the 3 mattes down here, and we have seen matte blushes from the brand before, and I really like those as well. Not as much as the shimmers, but they are really nice, and I do like the colors in here. I'm actually kind of jiving with these 4 blushes right here. Oranges intimidate me a little bit. I will try them. We will see what they look like, but this is beautiful. Now, this palette actually retails for $34, and I really don't think that's a bad price point, seeing how we're seeing like individual blushes at that price. But like I said, I'm excited about this launch. I'm excited to create a couple of different looks with it. You can get each of these palettes individually as well as in a bundle. The bundle retails for $72, which is not bad at all for what you're going to get. But I did want to let you know that if you are interested in getting these individually, they are available individually as well. I will have both of these palettes as well as everything else that I use in this video linked down below in the description box. So as usual, if you're curious about anything I use in any of my videos, always check down there. I squeeze as much information as I possibly can into that tiny little space. But without further ado, let's go ahead and zoom in, prime my eyes, and get to creating our 2 looks. All right, y'all, so we are zoomed in a little bit. My eyes are primed and ready to go. And today I actually went in with my Natasha Denona eyeshadow base. This one's a little bit more hydrating than the other ones I have in my collection, and I've got a little bit of dryness and texture going on all over my face, but mostly on my lids just from being sick and my eyes watering and all of that. So I decided to go in with something that was going to add a little bit of hydration. But let's go ahead and start creating our first look with this palette. I'm excited about this. I'm always excited about Adept palettes. Even though I'm not a fan of their matte shadows, I'm always hopeful for them, but it's the shimmers that do it for me, and that's what keeps me coming back. But for the first look, I want to play with like these mauvey shades over here in this really pretty like vibrant magenta shade, and then for the second look we'll do something with these two over here and something a little bit more on the neutral side. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with this mid-tone mauvey shade right here. This one is called Mauve's Mist, and I'm going to pick that up with a BK Beauty 202 brush, and I am just going to put this into my crease and kind of build up the depth, the definition, a little bit of pigmentation, the shape that I want. And right off the bat, I can tell you this shadow is going to be their good matte formula. It is building up. I am not getting any patching. Even with all the texture that I have going on, it's not grabbing or doing anything funny. And I can always tell right off the bat if it's gonna be a good formula or the bad formula from Adept. And so far, this is the good formula. Love it. I'm going to bring this shade down onto my lower lash line as well. Just kind of wrap it all the way around and buff it along down here. I'm not like tight lining or keeping it super precise. I'm just going in very whimsical and just fluffing it. Next, I want to go in with this really pretty magenta shade down here. This one is called Live a Little. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with my Singe Beauty EO6 brush, and I'm going to put this on my outer corner and just build up the depth and definition that I want. Give me a little bit of brightness. I want to see how all these shades are going to perform, if we're going to get any patching, skipping, if we're going to mud out or do anything weird. And so far, the pigmentation is there. I'm not getting any patching or skipping. I'm not getting any fallout. These are performing really, really nicely. That is a beautiful shade. I am going to bring that down onto the outer portion of my lower lash line as well, just kind of wrapping it around and keeping everything nice and cohesive. So real quick, I want to go in with this shade right here called Balanced Brown and see if I can build up just a little bit of depth in that very outer corner of my lid. I don't want it to take over or do anything like that. I just want to see if it will deepen up this look. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with a Singe Beauty EO2 brush, and I'm very lightly going to go right here in the outer corner, and then I'll bring it down onto the outer portion of my lower lash line as well. Yeah, that's giving me some really good depth. It's kind of hard to tell when you've got shades that are both very mid-tone. There's not really anything super deep in this palette, but this one stacked on top of that other shade is giving me that little bit of depth out there that I want. Alright, so my eye is primed with my NYX Glitter Primer. Let's put a couple of these shimmers on the lid. So I think for the first one, I want to start out with this shade right here. I'm going to save the Duochrome for the second look because I have something in my mind. But we're going to start with this really pretty pink shimmer shade right here called Petals. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this up on my finger. Just like that. Now this one is a little bit more on like that textured side. It's not quite as smooth as what we've seen before, but it doesn't feel like gritty and chunky or anything like that. And it is going on really, really nicely. Even with all the texture that I have going on my lids right now, it's not grabbing or doing anything funky. It's not accentuating it. It is laying down nice and smooth. And that's exactly what I expect from Adept shimmers. Like, look at how beautiful that is. No flips or anything like that, but the reflection is absolutely stunning. So next I want to go in with this purple shade right here called Rose Orchid, and I'm going to put this just right here where the mattes and the shimmers meet to kind of blend everything together a little bit. Now this one feels a lot smoother than the last one. It feels a little bit more on like that wet texture side. It doesn't feel gritty or chunky or anything like that, and it laid down beautifully. Okay, let's do the inner corner really quick, and then we can finish up this and put something on the cheeks. So for the inner corner, I want to go in with this shade right here. Inner corner, not inner corner. I don't know what I said. The inner corner, I want to go in with this shade right here, which is called Serene Spirit. It's this really pretty rose gold shade. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with my Singe Beauty EO1 brush. I am going to spray this with my MAC Fix Plus, and I'm going to pop this into my inner corner, kind of blending it up onto my lid, wrapping it around onto my lower lash line, and just kind of bringing this entire look together. Oh yeah, that's pretty. All right, y'all, so this is the first completed eye look, and this is beautiful. I am so happy with the way everything performed. I love the way the shimmers look. The mattes went on absolutely beautifully, and I'm excited about this look. But let me show you what I used to finish it off, and then we're gonna play with a couple of the cheek colors before moving on to our second look. So in my lower waterline, I went in with a Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal liner in the shade Bordeaux. I lined my lid with my Glam Light Calligrapher liner, and then topped it off with my Charlotte Tilbury Exaggerize mascara. Now let's do some cheek colors. So I'm so excited about this one. My first instinct is to go in with this shade right here. I want to kind of give a little bit of a feel to see if these feel like the ones I know from the past, and that is very, very pigmented. It does feel nice and soft and nice and creamy. I don't know if it feels quite as creamy and smooth as ones that they had in the past feel, but look at how that just kind of blends out and it just disperses really easily. It's not quite as intimidating once you buff it out as it is when you first swatch it. So I think I'm gonna go in with a little bit of that shade and maybe a little bit of the pink underneath. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the matte pink blush down here. This one is called Magenta. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up with an IT Cosmetics angled cheek brush. I don't know what this one is called, and the thing has rubbed off. So I'm just gonna pick up a little bit of that on my brush, and I am just going to stipple this on the cheek where I want it. And once I have it down, I'll go back and start to blend and buff it into the skin. That is very pretty. It is not crazy pigmented right off the bat. It's a little bit more on the buildable side, which I appreciate. I love a good pigmented blush moment, but I want to be able to build up to the pigmentation that I want. I don't want it to take over. I don't want it to kind of control the situation, and that is looking beautifully. It's grabbing a little bit right here, but I've got a really good dry spot. So we're not going to judge her based off of this application. But that is very pretty. I do like that shade. But like I said, I want to go in with a little bit of this one right here, which is called Roses Are Red. And I want to put this over top more like a blush topper since it is a little bit on the deeper side. So I'm just going to pick that up with the same brush that I used. And again, I'm just going to kind of pat it on my cheek and then go back in and kind of buff it out. And look at how beautiful that is. Oh my gosh, I love that. It has such a beautiful sheen to it. Like I said, these are not chunky, these are not glittery, they're nice and smooth, they're not blinding, they just have a really beautiful sheen to them. And I do feel like this is a different formula from what I have from them in the past, but it's a really pretty cheek color. I love it. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to our second eye look. So like I said, for this one, I want to do something a little bit more on the neutral side. So I really want to play with these two shades right here, and I'll probably use this brown shade again to deepen up the outer corner. But let's go ahead and start with this shade right here. This one is called Tranquil Tone, and it's a really pretty like grayy beige color, almost like a taupe, and I'm going to put this in at my crease. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with a BK Beauty 212 brush, and just like I did in the first look, I am just going to build up the depth, the definition, a little bit of shape, see how this is going to perform, what kind of pigmentation we can get. I will say these mattes are very pigmented, and I do like that because they're easy to work with as well. I'm not getting patching or fallout, they're not grabbing, they're not doing anything weird, and this shade isn't either. And this eye, I have a lot more texture on, and it's not affecting the performance of the shadow, so that speaks volumes to the formula in here. Once again, I'm going to bring that down onto the lower lash line, just kind of wrapping it around, buffing it, fluffing it, dispersing it, not keeping it super tight or anything like that. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of taupey shades on me, but that one is absolutely beautiful. I really like that shade. I think it's pretty. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to this green shade down here. This one is called Moss. So I'm going to put this one into my outer corner, and for that, I'm going to pick it up with, let's go in with a BK Beauty 206 brush, and I'm just going to put this, like I said, in my outer corner, building up the shape and the depth. I want to see how this shade is going going to build up on that first shade that I put down. I want to know, is it going to mud out? Is it going to get rid of the pigmentation of the green? And it doesn't seem like it's doing like that. I can definitely see that green coming through. Yeah, that's pretty. This is a very soft green, so you're not gonna get like a deep pigmentation with it, but it's definitely there. It is very beautiful. Again, I'm not getting any patching. It's not grabbing. It's not clinging. I'm not getting any fallout. It is laying down really, really nicely. Now, the nice thing about the matte selection in this palette is you can 100% just pop one of the mattes all over the lid, in the crease, whatever, and then put a beautiful shimmer on top and you're good to go. And that is one thing I do really love about Adept shadows, is they are really good one and dones. You don't have to get real intricate with their looks to create something beautiful, and I just really appreciate that. But that is looking beautiful. All right, so once again, we're gonna go in with this shade right here, which is called Balanced Brown. I'm gonna go in with that same Singe Beauty EO2 brush, and we're gonna build up a little bit of depth in this outer corner, and just again, see how these shades are gonna stack up on each other. Are they gonna mud out? Are they gonna disappear? Or are they gonna perform like I want them to? And that looks really nice, I like that. All right, so once again, my eye is primed with my NYX glitter primer. Let's go into this duochrome right here. This one is so beautiful. It's this really pretty like green to gold flip. It's called the Peaceful Path, and I want to put this one all over my lid. So I am going to pick that up on my finger. This felt so smooth, very wet feeling. This felt like what I expect from an Adept shimmer, and it's going on very nicely as well. Like I said, I have got a whole lot more texture going on this lid than I do the other one, and this is laying down absolutely beautifully. Now when I'm done with the entire looks for both of these, I will turn down the lights so we can see all the shimmer and the shift in this look over here and just see what they're gonna look like in dim lighting. But that is so pretty. All right, so for this one, I think I'm just gonna leave that one shade on the lid. It blended out really nicely into that outer corner. I like the way that it looks. So we're just gonna pop something in the inner corner and call it a day. And for this one, I wanna go in with this one right here, which is called Balanced Beauty. It's a really pretty like champagne-y gold shade, but it has just like the tiniest bit of like a green undertone to it. I don't know how to really explain it or describe it, but it just has a little bit of that something to kind of blend everything together. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up once again with my Singe Beauty EO1 brush. I am going to spray this. Well, let me get a little bit more. Hello. There we go. I'm gonna spray it with my MAC Fix Plus, and we're gonna pop this into the inner corner, blend it onto the lid, and wrap it around onto the lower lash line. All right, y'all, so this is the completed look with the palette, and I really like the way this one turned out as well. I love that I've got like two different things going on my eyes. I've got like bright and vibrant, and then I've got fall grunge over here, and I'm not mad about it, I have to admit, but this is beautiful. I really like the way the mattes performed on this eye as well. I think they built up really nicely. We got some good depth, and that duochrome on the lid went on very smooth, and I can definitely see the shifts as I'm looking in the mirror. Like I said, I will turn down the light, so hopefully y'all can see that as well. But let me show you what I used to finish up this look so we can put some more blush on the cheeks and then chat about these palettes. So in the lower waterline, I went in with a Give eyeliner in the shade Greener Pastures, and then I just finished it off with my same Glam Light liner and Charlotte Tilbury mascara that I used in the first look over here. But let's go ahead and pop back into our cheek palette and put some blush on these cheeks over here. So I think for this one, I really want to go in with these two shades right here. I'm not feeling the bold orange right now. I'm gonna have to do a short with this, trying on all of these shades on my cheeks so I can show you what they look like and all of that. And of course, I will keep y'all posted in a future speed reviews video. But for this look, we're gonna go in with these two right here. So I'm gonna start with this really pretty matte mauvey one down here. This one is called Honey Never Spoils. That is so cute. I'm gonna pick that up with another IT Cosmetics angled cheek brush. This is a clean one, and I'm just gonna go into that shade, and I am going to pick up a little bit more than that and just kind of once again stipple it onto my cheek, and then I'll go back and blend it. That is very softly pigmented. I have a feeling you might need to go in a little heavier handed with this one just to kind of build up that pigmentation. But if you want a very soft flush of color for like every day, this could be a really good option for you. Let's see how it builds up though. All right, so it is definitely building up, but it's not nearly as pigmented as the first one. This is a very, very light blush. I don't think this is going to work out too well for deeper skin tones. Let me know down in the comments if you have a deeper skin tone and you pick this up, what you think of this blush palette, what you think of the shades. Even if you didn't pick it up, let me know what you think of it. But yeah, it is building up. I'm just having to go in really heavy-handed with that one. So I'm not mad about it, but keep in mind that I am very fair skin tone. So if you are darker than me, this may not be the best choice for you. All right, so this is what that blush is looking like. It is definitely there. I can see it, but like I said, it is very lightly pigmented. I do like the really pretty, like natural flush that it gives to the skin, but I had to put on a ton of this blush to get it to show up on my fair skin. So once again, something to keep in mind. It is really pretty. I'm sure you can build it up more, but I just don't know if it's going to work for all skin tones across the board. But let's go into this really pretty shimmering one up here. This one is called Sometimes Violet. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up with the same brush, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna kind of stipple this over top and see if we can build up a little bit of shimmer, sparkle, sheen, whatever you want to call it. Oh yeah, that's really pretty. That's almost like highlightery on my skin tone. I think that's really, really pretty. I like the way that this one's going on. All right, y'all, so let's go ahead and chat about the Duality cheek palette. First of all, I think the formula in here is really nice. I have used 4 out of the 6 blushes in here. I need to play with the orange ones. I know I will. Orange intimidates me, but the formula I think is really nice in here. The 2 shimmering blushes that I play with, they remind me a lot of what they've had in the past. They're not quite as creamy as what I remember, but they still go on really nice. They have a beautiful sheen on the skin. They're not glittery. They don't look chunky. They're not emphasizing texture or anything like that. And the 2 matte blushes that I play with down here I think are really nice as well. I will say this one was not as pigmented as what I was hoping for. It is buildable, but it took a lot to build up to it. I want to play with it, play around with it a little bit more and see if maybe it's the brush that I used or something like that, if I can build it up a lot more. Again, like I said, if you pick this up and you have a deeper skin tone than me, let me know what you thought of this mauvey blush down here. But the pink one I thought was really pretty. The pigmentation was definitely there. It was buildable. It didn't take nearly as much to build up on my fair skin, and I have a feeling that the orange one is going to be the same way. So based off of first impression, I do really like this palette. I like the color variety in here. I think it's going to work for all skin tones across the board. I just don't think that every shade in here is going to work for every single skin tone and skin undertone. So something to keep in mind, but I do think it's a great value. $32 for 6 blushes is like unheard of, because like I said, we are seeing $36 for a single blush. So great value. I think it's beautiful. If you love all the colors and you're interested in it, I think this is a really great pickup. But let's talk about the eyeshadow palette, because to me, this is the star of the show, and I have to say, I'm really impressed with the matte formula in this palette. Even with all of the texture that I have going on my lids, I've got like dry skin coming off. Like if you get up really close, my eyes do not look great, but I will say I did not experience any issues with the mattes in this palette. I didn't get any patching, any skipping. It didn't cling to those spots. It didn't accentuate them. I didn't get any fallout. They all blended out really nicely. The pigmentation is 100% there. I feel like these are a little bit more pigmented than what I expected based off of the Flying Fiddles palette, but not overly pigmented in a way that they were hard to work with. I found them to be very easy to work with, and I'm really happy with the mattes in this palette. Of course, the shimmers in here are absolutely beautiful. We only have one duochrome, so we don't have a bunch of multi-chromes and holochromes and things like that that we've seen in the past, but these are still the absolute beautiful Adept shimmer formula that I know and love. Obviously, I have not gotten to every shimmer in here. I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left to play with, so I got to half of the shimmers in this palette, which is not bad for 2 looks, but I have no doubt that they're going to perform the way that I expect them to. But like I said, I will keep y'all posted in an upcoming palette ranking video. Ooh, I drew a complete blank, but based off of first impression, this is a beautiful palette. If you like the color story in here, I don't think you would be disappointed with this one at all. Like I said, the mattes in this palette are really, really good for Adept. Are they like my favorite matte formula ever? No, but this is the good matte formula, like the one that we've seen in the Heather Austin palette, the Sumerian Sunset palette. These are beautiful, and I really do like this palette. I'm excited to have it. I love that we got a sister palette to the Flying Fiddles palette. Maybe I should do a short combining the two and creating some different looks, but that is going to complete this video. I hope y'all liked it. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. Did you pick up this bundle? Did you pick up one palette? Let me know which look was your favorite. I want to know it all. Let's have that conversation. Light up that comment section, and as usual, I want to thank you all so much for watching my video and spending your time with me. It truly does mean so much to me, and if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up before you leave. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that notification bell so that you can be notified of all my future posts here on my channel. I do post quite a few videos every single week, and I wouldn't want you to miss one. But until my next video, have a good one. Bye.